Hi everybody. On this project I'm going to do a ball out of paduck, resin and bamboo, and the paduck is leftovers paducks. I just squared a nice piece of paduck that I have left over. I made a recess inside there that will be my centerpiece, and the outer piece I've got a ring that I had from a previous project that I cut and I had to re-glue it here, and now I have the outer one, and that's the way that I'm creating my vessel. Inside the vessel I'm going to put pieces of bamboo, and you will see one of the things that I learned from the disaster that I had on a previous project was that it split and it came off, and the reason was that I did not sandpaper the outside of the bamboo, and this time I did. And not only that, I also cleaned it inside with a gun cleaning brush, you know, for the barrel, and I cleaned it inside before I folded it up with resin. I cut it into size. Remember that when I fold it up with resin, I fold it up all the way to the knuckle, because the knuckle doesn't leak from there. And then I cut it later. I cut it to size. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for it. I couldn't put it in a pressure pot, so I'm going to wait for it to dry. And in the meantime, I'm creating a tenon. And the reason why I'm creating a tenon is because I want to put it on the other side. On one side, you remember I had I made a recess, and on this side I'm going to put a tenon, so I'll be able to hold it on both sides of the project. I had to square it first nicely so that when I glue the hot gun glue, I can glue it on a clean and straight surface. Now I'm going to have, on both sides, I'm going to have a way to hold it. One side is the recess, on the other side is the tenon. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to square it nicely, make it round, very nice round. So first of all, it will reduce the vibration, and number two, I won't have to go to that again. On this project, I'm using a technique that I saw made by ThePapa 1947. He slices it into a few slices, and then he glues them again, and he takes a plate and he makes out of it, he makes a ball. On my previous project, when I worked with bamboo, it was a disaster. It broke, it split, everything happened. I had to change few times I had to change the idea. Now, a lot of you guys gave me great ideas, and I thank you for it. And one of the things that I learned is that when you have pieces sticking out, you can't work too fast, but you can't work too slow either. But at the moment that you got away with the big pieces, to smooth it down you need speed. So I'm increasing it to about 2000 revs, and I twist a little bit the carbide tool, and I scrape it down, and it comes out very, very nice. It does not split whatsoever. And here you see what I mean. I'm using a parting tool, the black line parting tool, and I'm cutting in a close to 50 degrees. I'm cutting it in, and I'm cutting a slice of this piece of wood. Actually, I'm cutting a ring off. You'll see now that I've got the extra ring, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut another ring. And I learned this thing from ThePapa 1947. It's not my idea. I just took it to my world of wood and resin. He's doing it with wood only, and I think that the angle wasn't 100% right, but it still worked for me very nicely. I'm using epoxy to prepare the side to glue it with epoxy bot pieces, and I put it. There is not really a way to put it 100%. I just eyeball it, and I hope that I didn't go too far away, and otherwise it will have a problem when I put it back on the lathe. It will have a too big a vibration, and I try to eyeball it properly and to measure from the pieces of wood, to measure as much as possible, and I think it came out quite okay. Now I'm starting, the step were too big. I think that the steps are too big because I didn't measure the angle correctly or the thickness correctly. I'll probably will have to do it again with something else and improve my technique. But in a whole, it came out right. The other thing that I saw here, that you will see now how I'm fixing it, is that because it's resin and there is no clear definition between the pieces, and because they are, you can see it's like three wobbles or three, I needed to do something about it and give them a clear line, because after I polished it and after I sandpaper it, you could see that they blend in, but they don't blend in. I don't know how to explain it. They blend in, but it's not, you have to or blend it better or find another solution. And I decided that I'm going to create a groove in the middle, exactly where they are joining. I'll create a groove and I'll put inside resin with the powder of the shaving of the paduck. There are small places that the resin chipped off from the bamboo, but now when I done that, I just closed them with the orange color, so those chips came out. Now you'll see better that there is a line that will define between the areas, and I think that that's what I tried to achieve, and that's another way to give a feature to the bowl. What do you think? Put down in the comment, what do you think? Is it, should I have to leave it as it was, clear, or the lines that increase the visibility of the three pieces, it's better? I sandpaper it all the way to 600, then Yorkshire Grit, of course, and after Yorkshire Grit, because it's paduck, we're going to do OB shine juice. The standard on my work is a place for my logo, three lines that I'm going to burn in for a feature, And then of course I'll clean it up with Yorkshire Grit, and I'll put later, in a later stage, you will see where I'm getting, I'll put in a later stage, I'll put my logo on. Now you'll see how good it is that you've got on one side a tenon, on the other side you've got a recess. You can just turn it both sides till you are happy, and then I'll have to take off the tenon here, and that will be in a later stage, you will see. There is some small pieces that there is chipped off, and I decided to play with it a little bit, and I put inside resin with gold. And I done exactly the same like on the outside. I made two lines, and inside I put the brown and the paduck resin. But to this one, on the inside, I added a little bit of copper, just to make a different definition from both sides. And now I'm going to use my diamond tool, diamond shape, and cut off the tenon. Again, 150 all the way to 600 Yorkshire Grit or shine juice, and that it is. Let me know, what do you think? Do you like it? Or you don't like it? Every time I'm amazed again with how good shine juice works with paduck. Really, I am. Ball. Put my logo, the inside. I play with the colors. I didn't put them on a special order, just put them inside as I like. So, thank you for sticking around, and don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to put some comments, thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next project. Thank you very much. Cheers.